All the science in the world is no good if people don't want to apply it and do not want to use it to save the environment. My name is Glen MacDonald, and I am a professor of geography at UCLA. The bad news is that obviously we are having a great impact on the environment. We're seeing very high rates of species lost and decreases in biodiversity in some parts of the world. And of course, globally, we're seeing an increase in greenhouse gases, and that's being followed by an increase in temperatures, more extreme weather, and all sorts of climatic changes. The good news side is science is aware of this. We have increasingly sophisticated ways to monitor our environment, and we have increasing ability to kind of develop and work on solutions to some of these problems. So here in California, we typically look at two things when we think about climate change: drought and wildfires, right? You know, lack of water resources, and then increasing amounts of wildfires in terms of annual area burned. So what does that have to do with climate change? And here's the thing. Climate change is part of it, but it's not all of it. What we've seen in terms of climate change is we're having warmer temperatures in California. We are getting drier faster. We're having a longer dry season, a longer fire season, and drier fuels. A large proportion of that can be apportioned to climate change. But the other part of it is the state has always had wildfires. We do have in many parts of the state a buildup of fuels, which is contributing to this. We have a lot more fuel in those forests now than we did, for instance, in 1930 because of the way we were managing it. A lot of climate change's impacts are exacerbating problems that are already there. There are divisions in climate change. Why do we see these divisions? Some people who completely deny that is happening or say it has nothing to do with human activity. On the other side, there are people that say it is the greatest existential threat that faces the planet and humanity at the current time. And we have to completely reconfigure our whole socio-economic system. So we have a really diverse range of opinions. And in the United States, they're typically divide along political lines. Conservatives and Republicans will downplay the threat of climate change, whereas progressives, the Democrats, tend to focus on climate change as a problem. We have this divided population in terms of climate change. And how do we address that? How do we come to some consensus? How do we come to some uniform movement forward? I think obviously communication is really important. And I don't just mean scientists showing lines on graphs or maps. That doesn't resonate with everyone. And it particularly doesn't resonate when you're being preachy. It really resonates more in a respectful conversation where we exchange views. We exchange, fears about the economic impact of dealing with climate change. We exchange views about people's fear about the impacts on their own personal freedom. And we also exchange our views in terms of the impacts of climate change and how it possibly could be disastrous for many sectors and for many people. The other thing I think is important is this: doom and gloom is not going to get us really where we need to go. People respond to, a threat, of course, but they also respond and they get behind progress and solving things, and we can move forward. And that really is in some ways at the core of the kind of American experience, is overcoming adversity and creating an even better world moving forward. So there has to be hope and optimism in the message that if we get together, we take a good hard look at this, we take a look at the science, the engineering, the economics, we come to a consensus, we're respectful with each other, we can move forward and there is hope.